Hey everyone, my name is Jeremy Sandell. I am the operations manager of one of Ty's companies, Farmer's Cart, and the founder of an advertising agency called Wolf Riot. And what I'm going to do in the next couple videos is basically give you guys the step-by-step of setting up your store. So that way you guys can actually get everything in place from setting your store up to putting shipping, establishing your shipping, getting any of your payment options set up, and ultimately getting all of the nuts and bolts of what you need before you start advertising your products and making sales taken care of. That way you have a full understanding of how things work in Shopify, so that when you do start running ads and doing some of the more like exciting and fun stuff, you're in a position that everything's set up, it's going to work the way it's supposed to work. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys here in a sec. And what I'm gonna do is in this first video just show you how to set your store up from not having a store to having one. So the first thing you'll do is go to shopify.com, and then you'll click in that top right hand corner, start free trial. And you know what we can probably do is we'll go ahead and see if we can't get you guys a link that gets you maybe a longer trial, but for the time being we'll just sign up for the 14-day trial. Jeremy's Ecom. And let's see, go ahead, Google. Perfect. And we need to come up with a name. So I'm actually just going to name this after myself. There we go. Perfect. Now, when you first set your store up on Shopify, they're basically gonna, give you this quick walkthrough. They'll show you what buttons you have and everything like that, but they're also gonna ask you these questions. So ultimately, if you guys are serious about opening a store, you're really, taking the time to build one out, you're not just like me playing around, then you're going to go ahead and set this up that you're either selling but you just aren't selling online, or that you're not selling products yet. And really what this does is this is just customizing the experience you have with Shopify. If you're not already selling, feel free to click this. Say, I'm not selling products yet, because what they're going to do is they're going to give you little suggestions, little nudges to kind of just let you know, hey, we noticed you're not doing this. It's really their way of making sure that you don't fail. It just helps a bunch, especially if this is the first time you've ever used Shopify. Yes, I have a product and I'll be ready to launch. We'll go ahead and go in, let's just say $0 revenue since we're not selling yet. And then industry. Now with these, it's not as important that you pick the exact one. So if you're not necessarily sure, then just put other. But let's say as an example, we're going to sell toys. So to click on toys. Are you setting up a store for a client? If you're setting up a store for yourself, then you would say no. If you're going to be building these for clients, go ahead and set that up that way, because that's going to change some of the experience you have with their software as it is too. And let's see, let's go ahead and put this in here. Put my name, and then we'll put, let's see, 123 West, we'll just say 8th Street in Kansas. That sounds like a good address. Okay. And then we're going to put a phone number in here. Perfect. And we'll put this store is a registered business. Enter my store. And when you click enter my store, this is going to take you into your admin panel. And this is going to basically be where you start with anything that you're doing. And I'm going to go through a couple of things you guys want to take note of. That way you're aware of where to go, because some of the things that you're going to see in here don't necessarily look the way you would expect them to if you were to set up Shopify yourself. So on the left-hand side, you have home, orders, products, customers, analytics, marketing, discounts, apps. So these are apps that you would connect specifically to your store or a client's store. And then you have this button down here for your online store. This will literally show you what your store looks like right now. And then at the very bottom, it'll show settings. The first thing you want to do before you start adding products and doing a lot of these other things is to go into settings, because this is where you're going to set up everything else that needs to be done before you can start taking payments. As an example, setting up your payments, customizing your online checkout process, setting up your shipping, how much that's going to cost, how it's going to be transmitted. So let's say somebody places an order, where does it go from there? This is where you're going to put in that it's going to a FedEx account number, or it's going through USPS, or it's going through another provider. Taxes, this is where you can set things up that not only are your customers being taxed when they have to pay sales tax, but that you can have things set up for your store that you're able to track on your end how much revenue is coming in from taxes that way, and that's being set aside. So at the end of the year, the tax man's not coming for you, right? Locations, this is going to be any place that you are currently stocking your inventory and any places that you're fulfilling orders from. So if you have a storefront, or your customer has a storefront that they're going to fulfill orders from, it could be that they're being fulfilled from that storefront as well as a warehouse. Notifications, this is basically something that you can use not only to keep yourself in check, that you know what's going on with your orders, but also that your customers know when they're receiving them. Gift cards, this is basically, kind of like how to set things up for discounts. Files, this is where you're going to upload any graphic design work, any content related work, any scripts, any kind of custom coding, that'll all go into this. Sales channels, this will basically allow you to connect what channels you're using and put you in a position that if you're going to be selling on Facebook Shop, as an example, that you are connected to your Facebook page from day one, and you're able to, share your inventory from your store to your Facebook page. Now, when you're first starting, you're not going to need this one as much, but as your team grows and as you start working on more and more projects, what you're going to need to do is get familiar with plans and permissions. This is where you'll add in any admins that you need to have. Just as an example, Farmer's Cart, we have multiple people that have admin access because we have people doing custom coding. We have people that add products to our site on a daily basis. We have people that are working in customer support that need to go check on an order when somebody reaches out. There's a lot of different people that are going to need to access to the store as it grows, and making sure that you're familiar with this is going to, put you in a position that you kind of know, okay, here's where I need to go and here's who I need to give permission to and how. Not everyone has to have full access. You can give people limited access in here. If you're working and you want to be selling in multiple countries, maybe you're bilingual or your customers are, you can set the languages and you can set that per location too. Billing, this is where you're going to deal with any of your billing information as well as any invoices that you might send. So if you allow people, or your customers allow people, to sell from the site without collecting payment, this is where you would set that up that you can then invoice them. Legal, this is going to be super important. I am not an attorney, so I can't advise you on what to say, but I would say the main thing you want to do is make sure that you have the right legal language in here. There's always a couple people out there in the world that are going to do things that are, less than ethical, because they're trying to get, just like take advantage of somebody else. Having the right legal in place is going to save you a lot of headaches as your company grows and as your clients' companies grow. And then import. This is where you're going to import, any products, any customer information, any other information that you need to add that you might already have from sales you've already done. As an example, if we were selling toys, if we already had a toy store and we had a customer list, we could then upload all the orders we've already done and use, Shopify as a way to get the right kind of data we need from that. Now, I'm going to really quickly just take you through this very beginning of what shows up when you just start your page. And then in the upcoming videos, I'll go over more in depth, shipping and everything else that goes, along with getting your operations handled. Now, this first video right here, getting started, you guys can absolutely watch this. They're basically going to cover everything I just said to you. The thing is, what they want to do is they want you guys to succeed. So they're going to give you as much information as they can, because they don't want you to maybe fail because they didn't send you one video. Now, when you're first starting, getting your operation set up first is more important than starting to add products. But you do want to make sure that in the process of getting operations set up, you're not ignoring that you need to connect your domain, and that you're ultimately going to need to, set up all of your verifications and make sure that you're protecting yourself so that your store can never be taken without you being notified and then you being able to take it back. And then also, being aware of the other different ways that you can add value to your site.